The SR-71, unofficially known as the Blackbird, is an advanced, long-range, reconnaissance aircraft. Throughout its nearly 24-year career, the SR-71 remained the world's fastest and highest-flying operational aircraft, setting 2 world records for its class: a speed record of 2,193 miles per hour, and an altitude record of 85,068 feet. The Pratt & Whitney J58 turbojet engine produces 32,500 pounds of thrust in afterburner. The SR-71 is powered by 2 engines for a combined thrust of 65,000 pounds. Since its retirement, the SR-71's role has been taken up by a combination of reconnaissance satellites and unmanned aerial vehicles. The SR-72, a possible successor, is under development and is scheduled to fly in 2025. On display is a pressure suit used by the crew of the SR-71. Due to the extreme environment in which the SR-71 flew, suits similar to those used by astronauts were used. The North American Aviation P-51 Mustang is an American long-range, single-seat fighter and fighter-bomber used during World War II and the Korean War. The P-51 at the museum was built using parts from multiple P-51s and placed on display in 1993. The aircraft was painted to reflect the exact coloring of Colonel Chelsea Peterson's P-51, the Audrey, named after his wife. The B-17 was designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory and became well known for its ability to incur damage and still remain in flight. The F-4 Phantom II is a 2-seat, twin-engine, all-weather, long-range supersonic jet interceptor and fighter-bomber. Originally developed for the United States Navy. Proving highly adaptable, it entered service with the Navy in 1961 before it was adopted by the United States Marine Corps and the United States Air Force. The F-5 Tiger II made its initial flight in 1972 and served during the Vietnam War. The F-5 was most well known for simulating MiG-21s for training in aerial combat skills and Soviet tactics at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. The F-117 Nighthawk, also known as the Stealth Fighter, is a single-seat, twin-engine strike fighter built by Lockheed's Skunk Works. Designed as a stealth aircraft undetectable by enemy radar, the F-117 made its first flight in 1981. The Nighthawk was the first operational aircraft designed to exploit low observable stealth technology to evade detection by radar or sensors, allowing it to carry out its mission and return home undetected. The aircraft on display is currently undergoing a major restoration. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, commonly referred to as the Warthog, entered service in 1976. The GAU-8 Gatling gun is a 7-barrel, rotary cannon with a fixed rate of 3,900 rounds per minute. With this weapon the A-10 earned the moniker, Tank Buster, for its ability to quickly destroy enemy armor. The A-10 was designed to provide close air support for ground troops by attacking armored vehicles, tanks and enemy ground forces. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is an American single-engine supersonic multi-role fighter aircraft. Designed as an air superiority day fighter, it evolved into a successful all-weather multi-role aircraft. The F-16 is also used by the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds aerial demonstration team. Over 4,600 aircraft have been built since production was approved in 1976. Although no longer being purchased by the U.S. Air Force, improved versions are being built for export customers. This is the M61 Vulcan. A 6-barrel Gatling-style rotary cannon, which fires 20mm rounds at 6,000 rounds per minute. The famous White Cliffs of Dover. This is the point where Great Britain is closest to continental Europe. On a clear day the cliffs are visible from France. They were a welcome sight to the battle-weary airmen of the 8th Air Force returning from enemy airspace in World War II. This 4,000-pound piece of rock, taken directly from the White Cliffs, was gifted to the museum by the Dover District Council in 2012. The 8th Air Force was established as the 8th Bomber Command on January 19, 1942 and activated at Langley Field, Virginia on February 1. Completed in 2022, this exhibit tells the history of the 8th Air Force, their involvement in World War II, and their connection to Utah and Hill Air Force Base. The German V-1 was designed as a vengeance weapon. The V stands for Vergeltungswaffen, or weapon of reprisal in German. The JB-2, also known as the Thunderbug, was a United States copy of the German V-1 flying bomb. Developed in 1944, and planned to be used in the invasion of Japan, the JB-2 was never used in combat. Despite huge obstacles, two persistent and visionary pilots, Jackie Cochran and Nancy Love, with the support of the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, created the Woman Air Force Service Pilots, or WASP, in 1943. Although they came from different backgrounds, they all had one thing in common: a love of flying. Overcoming the skepticism of many military leaders, they proved women could fly all kinds of military aircraft as well as the men, and do it more safely. This target kite was designed by then-Lieutenant Paul Garber, of the U.S. Navy, for training gunners. Garber went on to become the first curator of the Smithsonian Institution's Air Museum. On display are two World War I-era cannons. Also two examples of World War II vehicles: a Willys quarter-ton Jeep and a Dodge WC-54, 3/4-ton ambulance. Straight Flush was the name of a B-29 Superfortress that was used as a weather reconnaissance plane that flew over Hiroshima before the attack to determine if conditions were favorable for a visual drop. In 1994, after 3,500 flight hours, this F-15 was retired, restored, and put on display at the Hill Aerospace Museum. In 1957, the F-101 aircraft set a world speed record of 1,207 miles per hour. In 1962, the U.S. Air Force sent F-102As to South Vietnam where they flew air defense against the North Vietnamese. The Starfighter became the first aircraft to hold simultaneous records for speed, time to climb, and altitude. Wild Weasel was a code name given to aircraft that were equipped with radar-seeking missiles developed to destroy the radars and surface-to-air missile installations of enemy air defense systems. In 1959, the F-106 set a world speed record at 1,525 miles per hour. The F-111 was the first tactical aircraft to cross the Atlantic from the United States to Europe without refueling in May 1967. This A-1 was painted to resemble the aircraft flown by Major Bernard Francis Fisher from his rescue mission in Vietnam on March 10, 1966, for which he was awarded a Medal of Honor. This aircraft is painted to closely resemble its appearance while serving with the 23rd Tactical Air Support Squadron in Thailand. The museum is expanding. The new gallery should be completed by the spring of 2024 and will feature a U-2 Dragon Lady and an F-22 Raptor. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.